Okay, just got back from work. I'm very sweaty. Anyway, I had a dream last night, or this morning. Actually, it was around midnight. I went to sleep at 9, and I woke up at midnight after having this dream. And I wrote it down on my phone. Zoo animals escaped. I'd been seeing it happen slowly over time, but now they all escaped at once. And I was walking under the L train, the one in Fishtown, wearing a gray t-shirt, and I saw a cheetah run past me. And I immediately started running because it saw me, and I started throwing stuff behind myself, like trying to stop the cheetah. And I ran into the nearest building, and I took this elevator up, and there were 3 other women in the elevator, and I think none of them were wearing their masks. They all had it like on their chin or like off their nose. And I asked, and I was like, "Hey, can you guys wear your masks? Because we're all in this elevator together." And it quickly became like an emergency apocalypse situation with COVID on top of it. So there were bigger reasons why these zoo animals escaped. It wasn't just like a zoo thing. There was maybe like bombs went off or some kind of bad thing happened. And I was in this office space upstairs, and this employee held a confetti gun up to me because that was the only weapon they had, and they had to have like their defenses up because shit was going down. And he wasn't wearing a mask, but he had a black shirt and black pants, like in uniform with whatever kind of office or restaurant this was with an elevator. He let me go, and I stayed in the building for a little bit, and we all talked about the news about the zoo and what was happening, and we all didn't really know, but something big was going down. And there was some girl there. I think maybe I know her from work, I don't know. I'm sure, familiar face, I guess. And she was in the building, and we were talking. She said she had a plan to stay in her house with her roommates, and she invited me. And she lived in a nice apartment, and it had like white walls and nice windows, and a lot of natural light came in. And for some reason, things felt better, and so I wanted to make a music video with a Talking Heads song, and I wanted to stand on my hands and film like my feet up in the air in front of the sky for some reason. They had a good rooftop to film it, but I felt a little out of place. Like I shouldn't be staying here, or like I overstayed my welcome. So then I found out that my roommate, Aunt Gata, he has his own place that he's staying in, some kind of weird community. So I left to stay with him. And these buildings were either bombed or looted, and things were broken. And me and Aunt were staying in this half-made apartment, and there was no roof, and it was just falling apart, and it was near a railroad track. And it was a weird like trailer park kind of area, and there were old people and weird like hillbillies, and they were all living here in this weird community. And he was showing me around, and they didn't have a roof to film the music video with my feet in the air that I wanted to make. And it was all mostly piles of like white brick and no real like second floors. It was all just flat. And so I left to go somewhere else, I guess because I really wanted to make this music video. I ended up at some kind of party late at night. I don't remember being at the party, but I remember remembering the party after it happened. The party was in some parking garage, and it was really dark and echoey, and there were like green fluorescent lights. And so I woke up, and it was the morning, and I couldn't find a place to stay, and I was wandering around. And I was very far from the place I was staying with Aunt. And so I called him and told him I was going to stay somewhere else because I was too far and I didn't know how to get back. And he told me that there was a video of me on the internet of me drunk wearing half a mask. So I think like a face mask hanging from my ear that wasn't fully attached. But also it could have been like half of a plastic Halloween mask just like covering half of my face. Or I wasn't wearing it properly or something. Whatever the video was, I did something really bad, and it was on the internet, and people saw it and were spreading it, and I asked him to delete it, or or like do what he could, and I said I would delete it when I could get to a computer so that my friends and family wouldn't see, because I guess it was really bad and stupid and embarrassing. But I don't remember it. I remember waking up after the party. And so Black Suit Spider-Man was after me, and it wasn't actually Peter Parker. He was just a crazy guy in a costume. And I think he was after me unrelated to the video. Like, I don't think he saw the video on the internet and decided to come after me. I think he had another reason, but I don't know what it is. And he may have been wearing pants over the black suit. And this was like the comic black suit, so you didn't see the webs. It was just black and white. And he might have had a furry necklace. And he felt like he had to kill me. And he had a trick shotgun. So it was like a shotgun, but at the barrel on the end, instead of shooting out like the way you're holding it, it would shoot down. And so it was a trick because it looked like you'd be pointing it at someone and you'd think it was going to come out here, but it would actually shoot down. And that was a cool thing for him for some reason, and that was his weapon, I guess. Kind of like No Country for Old Men, the villain, like his weird weapon. It kind of made that sound when it shot. And so I came across this old Western saloon made out of a long row home house. And it was run by this man and woman. And the woman had medium brown hair and a short ponytail, and she wore a gray t-shirt with a black hoodie over it, and blue jeans and Doc Martens. And the dude, he had like light brown blonde hair, but he didn't really talk to me much at this point. And the two were kind of friends, but kind of not. I don't really know what the situation was, but they were running this bar together. And no one was wearing masks anymore. I think this apocalypse was just so bad that people gave up wearing masks. This is like weeks or months into whatever this apocalypse is, too. So we've all kind of adjusted a little bit. They were really nice people. They were as nice as they could be, you know, allowing me to stay with them. And so Black Suit Spider-Man called the phone there. And he said, like, he was after me, and he knows where I am. And so there were rooms upstairs, it was a second floor, but this didn't have a roof. So this was one of the first places I'd been to that still had the roof on the first floor. And so you go up the steps, and it's just a big balcony. You could tell there was a second floor, but it's all rubble on top now. And it was amazing to me that they kept this place running, and that they were nice, and they let people stay there. And so I went to this small bar in the back of the first floor. It was more like just a table, honestly. It was like a short square table. And there was a man selling a bunch of small Fireball bottles, like the ones you'd see at Acme. He had them all tied to a string in a necklace, so he just had all these bottles around his neck. And I think he had like a jacket with them inside too, and a backpack, and he just had a lot of these. And I told him I'd give him $1 for one, because I only had $3, and I could only spare $1, I guess. But then it turned into a challenge, and so I held up $3, and they all had like colorful light up pieces on them. And he was supposed to shoot or throw something through all of the 3 colorful pieces when they lined up. And then I think we just got drunk at that point. I don't really know what happened, but I know there's a lot of drinking in this universe, probably because we're all living in a really bad apocalypse. And so in the AM, the male owner of the bar, he leads me upstairs after we've all been drinking. It was very early morning, like kind of before sunrise, but sunrise was also kind of starting. And I was telling the dude what Black Suit Spider-Man was like and why he was after me. The man stopped for a second and whispered to me, and he said, "I think he's here." And the door that we came through, the trap door that we came through to the second floor, Black Suit Spider-Man jumped out. He leaped out of the entrance and started attacking me. And I got the gun away from him and wrestled it and then shouted at the man to help me. And he grabbed the gun and started trying to shoot at Spider-Man. But it wasn't doing anything because it was a trick gun and it was actually shooting from the bottom. I shouted and told him that he had to hold the bottom of the barrel up. And so he came over like while we were wrestling, lined it up with his head and shot Black Suit Spider-Man. And I started crying because this man saved my life. And I think it was also just the stress of being in an apocalypse for this long, and it was finally hitting me. And the dude held me and let me cry for a little bit. And then his face kind of moved in this weird claymation style. and the sunset came up, and I woke up. And that's it. I don't know what that means. But I wrote it down when I woke up, and I remembered a lot of it, and thought it'd be cool to talk about it. So